It's just about 1 year later from the time that I sold off my massive vinyl collection, and today I'm going to answer the question that I get asked a lot, which is, do you regret selling your records? Coming right up. Hey, it's Russ from the Infectious Groove Music Channel and the Infectious Groove Podcast. And if you're a longtime viewer of this channel, you probably remember that when it started, it was completely dedicated to vinyl. At the time, I had just about 1,500 records. I was living in a completely different city across the U.S., and most of all of the content that was on the channel was all about some of the more rare records that I owned and all sorts of different vinyl related things, reviews and stuff like that. But about a year ago, I ended up moving about 1,000 miles south of where I used to live, and pretty much had a choice that anybody has at that time. When you have a giant record collection, you got to decide, like, are you going to go through all the trouble of moving the record collection, or are you going to sell it off? I sold it off. And to be honest, on this channel, in real life, and on other YouTube channels, when I left comments, I got buried in all sorts of, oh, you're going to regret it. No, you're going to regret it for sure. You may not regret it today, but a year from now, you're going to regret it. So since it's a year from now, I thought I'd kind of go through and tell you the whys of it, and if, in fact, I regret it now. The move itself is one of those things, like if you have 20 record collection or a 2,000 record collection, vinyl takes up a lot of space. It's heavy. It's hard to care for. These aren't anything. I'm not like justifying selling off my collection by being like, oh, here's all the bad things about vinyl. But all those things are true. And to pack up a 1,500 record collection, to move it 1,000 miles south, to deal with like the climate issues and all of those things was really quite a big task. So, I just decided that it was best to sell off the collection as a whole at that time. And one thing that I think rolls into whether I regret it or not is I was never a collector of vinyl just to collect. The records that I had got a real good workout for the better part of 9 years. We used to have people over to the house nearly every Friday, a minimum of once a week, and tons of the records got spun all the time. I actually used to have people on like vinyl Facebook pages if I was spinning one of my more rare records, and would be like, oh, I can't believe you're playing that. Like, oh, that record's worth, this many hundreds of dollars. I would never play that. And it's like, well, I bought it to play it, So the record collection got, I think, a way bigger workout than most people that have that size collection. So we got to use it a ton all the time, instead of the records just sitting in the bins and never really getting played. So, I mean, overall, do I regret selling off my records? Absolutely not. It's awesome to have had the records that I had for a very long time. And for me, there was a lot of stuff that was still getting unplayed, even though we listened to as much as we could all the time. There was still a ton of stuff that really never even got played. And, again, I didn't collect them just to collect them, but there's only so much time in the day, and I wasn't able to bust through everything. Another part, and this is going to sound weird, I guess, to some folks, about why I don't regret selling my records is, they went to a good home kind of twice over. Detroit is rich with excellent record stores. And so I don't mean any disrespect toward any other record store when I tell you the hows and whys of where I sold. But I did sell the entire collection all at once to Rock City Music over in Livonia. It's a family-owned business. The people that work there, Scotty, Nick, we go way back. They love music, and they love people who love music. And that was very important to me. This wasn't going to be, oh, we're going to flip this Motley Crue album on eBay, or, oh man, we're going to put all these Prince albums up on Discogs. It was, these guys want to make sure that somebody who loves Van Halen Balance is the guy who bought Van Halen Balance. And so that was very, very, very important to me. And over the course of the last year, it's been fun for me when I see Rock City make posts on social media and I can see parts of my collection featured in there. When I can see someone who's been looking for this album, their whole life or for 5 or 10 years, and they were able to find it because I sold off my collection, and then Rock City went ahead and sold it to the right person. That for me is a really big part of the reward and part of the reason why I don't regret. Another question that I always get, and this will be the way that I round this out, is, do you ever think you'll get back into vinyl? Do you ever think you'll get another turntable? 100% yes. I am very loyal to the Fluence RT85. I'm going to end up getting one of those. And one thing that I kind of think gets left out of the conversation is, I'm not sitting here recordless. I did keep some of the more important pieces in my collection to me prior to selling them off, prior to making the deal. I've got a couple of different box sets, and I've even bought a couple of LPs over the past year that I know will be pretty rare in the future. So I wanted to get in on them now, but I don't think I'll ever go anywhere near as wild as I had before. Having said that, the question that I always get is, do you regret selling your records? As hard as it may be to believe for some folks, absolutely not. Hopefully this video gives you all the reasons why and you understand that. But if you have any further questions for me, or if you've decided maybe it's time for you to sell or whatever, I'd love hearing from everybody on this type of stuff. Leave me a comment below if this is your first time on our channel and you're like, that crazy guy sold all his records. We have a whole bunch of other music content, so make sure to hit the subscribe button. For those of you who were with the channel when it was a vinyl channel and you've stuck around, thank you very, very much. For those of you, if this is your first time here, check out everything that the channel has to offer, and thank you so much for watching.